Good morning. Boy, it is great to be here today. It's kind of cloudy outside, but yesterday it wasn't, which was great because I once again went tubing. I think that's a mistake I make far too often, but I like it. I enjoy it. It's fun. If you've never done it, that's basically an Iowa staple. There's nothing better to do than get in an old tire tube and float down the Cow River. Because it just consists of cow stuff, is all it is. But you don't care. It's so much fun. It's so great. You just do it anyway. And I did that yesterday. It was a lot of fun. I'm actually going to talk about that a bit today. But we're starting a brand new series here, if you didn't know, called Dirty Laundry. And it's actually inspired by that Don Henley song about dirty laundry and how much we live for that. How much that really plays an important role in our lives is other people's dirty laundry. And it seems that we can get so caught up with Facebook nowadays, it's so easy to see other people's dirty laundry just sprawled out on the lawn. Anything you want, you can find there. And it's an amazing place to do a really stupid thing, which is post all of our dirty laundry. And today we're starting this series off with just the most important piece of it, I believe, which is the secrets and the lies. It's the things that we just feed off of and we tell them and other people tell them to us. And then we have these little secrets that only we know and secrets that we don't tell other people. And we get caught up in the lies and we have all these lies everywhere. And because we have so many lies, we have so many things we have to remember. Because we have lies and just going out in every single wave. We have lie after lie after lie. And it's something that we all do, whether it's something we consider small or big, huge lies. We all have a certain amount of lying in our lives because we have all been expert liars at one point or another. Whether it was when we were kids and we would lie, or we got over that as we were adults. Maybe we only lied when we were kids and now we're just perfect. We don't tell those lies. Or maybe we tell more lies now than we ever did because we've gotten better at it. Now, as I was saying yesterday, I went out tubing, and life has a way of giving people that I think speak up here really good lessons to give to other people so you don't have to suffer through it. And it seems like whenever I'm having a lack of stories, the universe and God together hit me really hard with something, and then I get to share it with you. So yesterday I went out tubing, as I was saying, and I got a little bit of a suntan. That was good, even though there wasn't much sun. Apparently you can get more sun when there's less sun. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. But we went tubing, and before we went out, I decided that I was going to take a picture of everybody that was going. So I took the phone, and I propped it up on the car, and I set the timer and jumped in, and we all took the photo. And then I kept doing my thing, and we got everything ready. We got the tubes on the water. We're getting going. It's great. I'm on the water. I've been on the water probably for about 45 minutes to an hour now. And here's some geese over there, and it was just nature and everything. It was great. And I decide that I'm kind of getting ahead of everybody else in the tube. So me and two other people stand up in the water, and we wait because they're going to come down. And I do this. It's my phone. So here's my phone that was in my pocket in the river for 45 minutes. So I went, oh, well, it'll probably still turn on. Nope, didn't turn on. I just swam through Cow River for 45 minutes with an $800 phone. Because you know those things are not cheap. I mean, they're way inflated, and you pay for them for the rest of your life. Well, here was an $800 phone, gone, soaked, won't turn on. So I threw it into our little cooler, into a graham cracker bag, hoping that maybe I could keep it dry enough by the time it got home. And then, we got done, and I pull it out, and the bag's filled with water somehow. So we've been soaking even further, and this phone is just gone. It's dead. And so I get home, and I decide that I'm going to see if I can't take it apart and maybe start drying it out. Well, that didn't work because they seal those things now like you would not believe. Used to be you could take them apart, not anymore. They got those things sealed. And actually, some of the take-apart videos, you have to heat them up so the glue melts so you can pull the screen off. So I decided that I wasn't going to do that. So I looked it up online because my phone had a little blinking red light on there, wouldn't turn on. So I got online, I typed in phone, red blinking light, won't turn on. Not that I dropped it in the river. I just Googled the symptoms of the phone. And this guy was on one of the chat rooms, and he said, Yeah, that's a common problem. That can happen. What you do is you contact Google support and you tell them what's wrong with it. They'll send you a new phone, and then you'll take your old one, you'll send it back. It happens. I've done it a couple times, actually. So I get on with Adam J. of Google support, and him and I are talking back and forth, and I tell him I have a little phone with a red blinking light and it won't turn on. And he said, "When did this start happening?" I said, "Today." And he said, "Oh, well, have you tried turning it on while holding the volume button?" I said, "Yes, I tried that." "Have you tried charging it for a while?" I said, "Yes, I tried charging it for a while." "Has there been any strenuous issues with it?" I said, "Normal usage. Doesn't leave my pocket very often." So he goes, "Okay, well, that's probably no problem. We got it registered here because you used it through Google, and I'm just going to check out some warranty stuff, and we can get you on the road." I said, "Great, thanks, Adam J." So I'm waiting, and he comes back. He goes, "All right, it looks like everything's good. I just need to ask you a couple final questions. Have you tried doing this?" "Yes, I have." "All right, when did you buy it?" "What about here?" "And has there been any physical damage or water damage to it?" Well, I know as well as you do that water damage isn't covered by warranty. But some other guy on the internet told me if I just tell him that my phone's broke, they'll send me a new one, and then I can send them the old one back. And they're not going to find out it was water damage until they get it, and I'll have a new phone. So here's a moment, like in those CSI videos where they're deciding whether they want to cut the blue wire or the red wire, where I had my hands on the keyboard, and I had to decide if I was going to tell them that my phone did or did not have water damage. Now, this is a multi-billion-dollar company who probably doesn't notice phones disappearing here and there because they're just a little drop in the bucket financially. But I had a choice to make. Was I going to tell him that my phone was water damaged, or that just something mysteriously happened to it and it's not working anymore? Well, I'm putting the message together today, so it wouldn't have been good if the end of the story was, I lied to him. But ultimately, I hope that I would have made the right decision either way. So I said, "No, there's water damage in it. I don't know how much water damage. On a scale of 1 to 100, I'm sure it's somewhere around 100. But I had to tell the truth." And he goes, "Oh, well, I'm sorry. That's not covered by warranty, so I can't help you there. But there is a place you can send to have it fixed, and they'll diagnose it for free." And I said, "Thanks. Odds are it's probably water damage." So I have to eat my $800 phone. I have to take it in the teeth. That's another way to say it. Because I honestly believe the best things in life are done when we choose to not lie about them, even though in that moment that lie just didn't seem that bad. I did, up to that point, tell the truth. And here I have to decide whether or not I just want to say, I don't know why it's not working. Or, yeah, there's water damage with it. And then inevitably not get my phone fixed. But there is so many times in our lives like that where we choose a lie over telling the truth. And why? Why do we do that? Why is that so prominent with what we do? I think it's because it's easier. It's easier to pretend that I'm not responsible for the issues that I've put myself through to get me to the point to where I have to choose whether I should lie or not. And I think a moment like that is also a moment you're going to see in your life. If you haven't already, you will. You get the opportunity every day to choose a lie or choose truth. And we've all been there. We've all been expert liars. And for that reason, it says in Romans 3:10 through 13, as the scriptures say, no one is righteous, not even one. No one is truly wise. No one is seeking God. All have turned away. All have become useless. No one does good. Not a single one. Their talk is foul, like the stench from an open grave. Their tongues are filled with lies. We're all that. Yes, we're redeemed through Christ when we accept him, but you know what? We live in a world filled with sin, and this stuff can so easily come back to bite us. Because we're all sinners saved by grace through Jesus Christ, but we're all sinners. We all have these struggles. We all struggle with lies. We all struggle with whether or not we should tell the truth. Charles Spurgeon said, a lie can travel halfway around the world while the truth is putting its boots on. And that's so true because lies are so easily spread and they're so easily chosen because the truth is hard. The truth takes work. The truth probably leads to sacrifice if we choose that. Adolf Hitler said, if you tell a big enough lie and tell it frequently enough, it will be believed. Wow. Here's a man that killed millions and millions of people, and he had the backing of his country because he told them this is what we should do. And that lie led to World War II. Because lies have power. Lies can lead people astray. Lies can get people to do what we want through manipulating them and telling them those lies. Lies have power. And why does it have power? Well, lies have power because there's two things in this world in stark contrast from each other. Well, it says this in the Bible. It says that for you are children of your father the devil, and you love to do the evil things he does. He was a murderer from the beginning. He has always hated the truth because there is no truth in him. When he lies, it is consistent with his character, for he is a liar and the father of lies. He's talking about Satan here. There is no truth in him. He lies. He's the father of lies. Everything that's lies comes from Satan. And the contrast to that, the other side of that is this. Jesus told him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one can come to the Father except through me. So here's these two battling sides. We have the father of lies, Satan, and everything that he does is lies. And then we have Jesus, who is claimed to be the truth, which is totally opposite from lies. So here is this battle, and because of this huge contrast here, we're in the middle, and we get a choice to choose truth or to choose lies. So when it comes to making that choice, we try to rationalize it. We try to rationalize lying. We look at little different lies, like my phone, and we say, well, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that much of a lie. No one's going to get hurt by it. They have plenty of money. What's one more phone? Why not just get a free one? And we try to rationalize it. We look at things that we say to other people, and we try to rationalize how we're saying things to them. Well, I need to say this way so that they think this way about me. And we rationalize it, and we see those little things called white lies. Those little lies that we tell because we don't want to hurt people. We don't want to seem unloving to people. We tell a little white lie here and there because we don't really want to hurt their feelings. We don't want them to think less of us or themselves, so we tell little white lies. We tell protective lies, too, lies that we kind of shield ourselves with, because we don't want us to get hurt in the process. If telling the truth to somebody else is going to hurt them, well, then inevitably it's going to hurt me, and I don't want to be hurt. So we tell little white lies. We kind of tiptoe around the fact that the truth is out there. We just decided not to say it. So we lie to a lot of different people. First of all, we lie to others, obviously. We lie to others all the time. When I was a kid, I would lie all the time because that's just what I did. I didn't know otherwise. I would lie when asked who did this or who didn't do that. I remember when I was a kid, the first time I ever stole something. I remember that day. I remember when I walked down to the Quick Star, which was only 3 blocks away, and I stole a pack of gum. Because I could. Because I wanted to. Because I knew that it wasn't very difficult. I mean, heck, Quick Star right now, you can go down and, you can get away with anything you want. We just choose not to, right? We could steal from there. We just choose not to. And when I was a kid, I chose to. And I remember walking home with this gum in my hand. It's just gum. And I remember walking home, and I got halfway there, and I was almost on the verge of tears because I knew I had gotten away with it, but I felt awful. I felt horrible that I had stolen this, and I guess I'll give that to my parents. Thanks for teaching me to feel horrible about stealing things. But I did. I felt awful, so I trudged my way back to Quick Star, and I walked in, and there's the woman at the counter, and I said, "I'm sorry, I stole this." And she said, "Wow, well, thank you for your honesty." And I left. And I didn't feel any better because she complimented me. I still felt awful that I chose to lie by stealing something that wasn't mine and trying to rationalize that it was okay. And we get caught up in that. We do that so often in our lives. We just do something and then we think, oh, well, that's okay. I did it for this reason or I did it for that reason. And we can lie to others. We lie to others when we choose to pick ourselves over them. We lie to others that way. We lie to others to spare them and to spare ourselves. That's why we choose to lie, because we think that, well, if I tell the truth to them, it's going to hurt their feelings. It's not going to make them feel very well. And then if they don't feel very well, I won't feel very well. So I don't really want to not feel well. So I'm just going to, I'm just going to lie a little bit. You know the famous thing like, does this dress make me look fat? The famous conundrum, the paradox on whether or not you should answer that question. You shouldn't answer it, right? You shouldn't ask it. You shouldn't do either of those. And then we think, well, we don't want to hurt their feelings. So no. You don't look fat. Or when the husband decides that he wants to cook a romantic meal for his wife. And it doesn't turn out good because it never does. And the husband is sitting across the table just staring at her, and she takes a bite of this black gloop. And she goes, because we don't want to tell the truth. We lie to other people. We don't want to say, yeah, this is terrible. I wouldn't finish this if I was dying. In fact, I may be because I'm trying to finish it. And we tell these little white lies. You know, it's funny, in my house, it's opposite. She can't cook, and I ask her if this shirt makes me look fat. So it's the opposite in our household. But we won't tell the truth here, right? And what's so wrong with it? Why have we gotten to the point now to where we go, there's something wrong with telling the truth like this? When I ask, does this shirt make me look fat? And she comes up and goes, oh, well, yeah, a little bit. You probably don't want to button this, or probably don't want to tuck that in, or maybe wear a different color underneath. What's so wrong with that? What's so wrong with someone telling you the truth and saying, yeah, you know what, that shirt does kind of make you look chubby? Or I would never eat this, even if I was starving. Now, granted, the way we say things can make it worse or make it better. But we need to find ways to say these things to people because it is important that they hear the truth, and it is important that we tell the truth. And that when I do ask, does this shirt make me look a certain way? She goes, oh, well, you know, it looks pretty good, but maybe you want to do a different color underneath. And now, see, that doesn't hurt so much. That's different than saying, yeah, it makes you look chubby. Or, no, I won't ever eat that again. Don't ever cook for me. And we get caught in that, and we won't accept the truth because of how it was said in the first place. So we need to learn how to say things. We need to learn how to tell the truth, but not necessarily tell the truth with a hammer. Instead, to be a little bit more gentle and find a way to tell the truth in love. So we lie to ourselves as well. We lie to other people. We tell the white lies. We tell the big lies. We tell the small lies. And we also lie to ourselves. I got a gym membership recently, and I was doing really well. I was going there every week. And then all of a sudden, it just kind of falls off. You know, everybody's been there. Everybody's ready to do the workout. Everybody's ready to, and I spent, $3,000 to get in there and get free towels. And then all of a sudden, you're like, well, I got something to do today. I got stuff to do tomorrow. You have the car. Okay, well, I can't walk 4 blocks to work out. And you lie to yourself and you say, I'll start next Monday. I'll start next Thursday. I'll start next year. You know what? Christmas is coming. I'm not going to worry about it because I'm just going to get bigger then. So why not just start working out afterwards? And we lie to ourselves. We lie and we say, I'm totally comfortable with the way that I am. I'm totally comfortable with the choices that I make. And we lie to ourselves over and over again. And we become this person inside that's nothing more than a little house of cards or house of lies. And we're just waiting for one day to go, you know what? I am fed up with myself. I am fed up with my choices. I don't like who I've become. And it comes collapsing down inside of us. Because we lie to ourselves. We choose to lie to ourselves all the time. And we lie to ourselves because we just fear the truth. We don't want to tell ourselves the truth. We don't want to say, you know what, you are really bad at spending time with your wife. You choose movies or cars or the garage over your wife. You just don't want to say that because it is true and it hurts. It hurts yourself. You don't want to say, well, I don't want to do those sort of things. You don't want to tell yourself the truth because the truth hurts. So we lie instead because the lie hurts just a little bit less. And we make these excuses. We say, well, I only think that way because of this. But you know what? I think Pope John Paul II said it best. An excuse is worse and more terrible than a lie. For an excuse is a lie guarded. Because we've picked a lie and then we made an excuse for it. And that excuse is supposed to make us feel better about the fact that, and ultimately, I picked the lie over the truth. And we don't feel good about that either. And when we lie to ourselves, we're also lying to other people. And that just compounds it. So we lie to other people initially, then we lie to ourselves. And because we lie to ourselves, we're inevitably lying to other people again. It becomes this big spiral of lies and dishonesty. We lie to ourselves because we despise failure. We just don't want to fail. So we tell ourselves, do a little bit less than what you would expect so that if you do fail, it's not as bad as it was. It wasn't as bad as it's going to be. We lie to ourselves and say it's not going to be that difficult so that when you do inevitably fail, you don't feel as bad about it. I mean, take class reunions, for example. We go to these things and we pretend to be something that we're not. We take our wives and we put our arms around them because we want everybody to know, look at how good I did. And the wives are going, look at how bad I did. Thankfully, it's not my class reunion. But we try to be something that we're not. We talk about the jobs that we have or the success that we did or where we've come since we left, who we used to be. Yeah, I know I was that way back then, but I got my stuff together now. Boy, you should see all of the money that I make. And we try to look better about ourselves because we really fear and despise failure. So we make up things. We take things that are small and we make them bigger. And we lie about how significant they are in our lives so that other people will look at it and go, wow, look at how well they've done. Look at how far they've made it. And we lie to ourselves because we just despise failure. And we lie to ourselves because lying removes responsibility. When we lie about what we've done or what we've chosen to do, and it doesn't work out or it turns out differently than what we lied it to be, now we don't have to worry about it because it wasn't really what we were talking about. We just don't have responsibility. I know a particular family member who, when he was a kid, he stole something. And when he stole it, it wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault at all. It was his friends that pressured him to it. You see, we lie about the fact that he stole it because we just don't want him to be responsible for the fact that he made a bad decision. And we do that a lot. We talk ourselves out of bad decisions because we don't want to take on the brunt of that bad decision. Instead, we want to make it minimalized so we don't look so stupid in the end. And we just trivialize all other areas of our lives because in these areas where we have a chance to stand for the truth and stand for honesty, instead we choose dirty little secrets, dirty little lies. We choose dirty laundry over the truth, over cleanliness, over renewal, over growing through these situations. We choose secrets and lies instead. And you know what? Ultimately, after we've lied to other people and we lie to ourselves, we lie to God. And we do because when we choose what we know is wrong, we're lying to God that we've got it under control. Because we know through the Holy Spirit that some of the things that we choose to do just are bad decisions. But yet we kind of play those off and we think, oh, well, that's not that big of a deal. That's why we talk about white lies so much. Because we think that God doesn't have a big issue with white lies because they're not really lies. No, you're not telling the truth. They are lies. Now, I don't know if you've heard this story before, but if you have your Bible and you want to follow along, you can. It's in Acts 5. It's the story of Ananias and Sapphira. It's a really short and grim tale of two people in the Bible. And it's a great one. And it's great because initially, when I was reading this long ago, I had no idea what the significance of it was. Because it's one of those stories that just exists for a blurb in here. It's no more than a chapter. It's not even a chapter. It's like 5 paragraphs of these two people and the choices that they made. Now, the story of Ananias and Sapphira is this. The Acts church is being grown. It's becoming huge. And everybody's deciding that they want to live together and they want to share everything. Everything that they have is everybody else's, and the church is just growing. And it's growing by thousands and thousands of people. Everybody's coming together. They're becoming a true church, a true family. This is what people use as the example of what church should look like, where they give everything they have. If anybody was in need, somebody else would step up and say, here, let me help you. And the church was just exploding. So in this time, they're selling all of their stuff. They're giving their stuff away. They're taking stuff when they need it because other people are willing to give them. And it's just back and forth. And everything is just working together so well. Well, here comes Ananias and Sapphira, this husband and wife. And they look at the people that are doing this and they think, well, I need to get in on that. We need to help out as well. But they realize that they don't really want to help out to the extent that everybody else is. So Ananias and Sapphira agree together that they will sell this land that they have. Nobody's asking them to. Nobody's saying you should do this. Nobody's telling them go sell your land. They decide that they want to sell the land. So they sell the land for this massive amount of profit. And then they go in to the temple where everybody else is and they set down this bag of money, this box of money, whatever it is. And they say, here, we sold our property. And we want to give this to the church. We want to give this to everybody. We want to help everybody else. And Peter says this. He says, Ananias, why have you let Satan fill your heart? You lied to the Holy Spirit and you kept some of the money for yourself. Uh-oh. Peter caught him in a lie. They decided that even though they wanted to sell this property, that they were going to keep a little bit of it because they didn't want to sell all of it. I mean, they wanted to sell all of it, but they didn't want to give all of it. So here again, nobody asked them. Nobody said, go sell your property. Nobody said, go do this. Nobody was expecting them to do this. They decided of their own will that they were going to sell this, and they did, and then they kept a little bit behind for themselves. The property was yours to sell or not sell. See, Peter knows this. As you wished. And after selling it, the money was also yours to give away. You could have sold it and you could have kept all the money for yourself because that was your decision. You decided to do that. How could you do a thing like this? You weren't lying to us, but to God. See, here's an interesting moment where all of a sudden you got to believe that Ananias was standing there and he was going, oh boy, they got me. They figured it out. And especially when it wasn't required of them. They decided that they wanted to give their money away to this, and then they just kept a little bit for themselves. He said, you weren't lying to us, but to God. And as soon as Ananias heard these words, he fell to the floor and died. Boom, dead. Okay, here's a guy who decided to sell his property because he wanted to help people out and probably make himself feel good in the process. We don't really know why. But then he decided to keep some of the money for himself rather than give it all. And then he told them, hey, this is all of it. This is all of our money. Look at this. Look at how great this is. Have it all. But he kept some of it back. And because of that, he died right there on the spot. So it says they wrapped him up with a sheet and they went and they buried him outside. Shortly after that, here comes Sapphira, his wife, comes in. No idea what's happened. No clue as to what had just happened there. The fact that her husband is outside buried in the ground. Peter asked her, was this the price you and your husband received for your land? There's the moment. Just like me with my phone. Right there. You have to make a decision. Am I going to lie or am I going to tell the truth? No idea what had just happened to her husband. What was the price you and your husband received for your land? Was this the full price? And she said, yes, that was the price. Boom, dead. It's crazy. She did the exact same thing. She had the opportunity. They both had the opportunity to tell the truth, but instead chose to lie instead. Chose to say, I'm going to choose this lie. Why? It wasn't important. It wasn't an important moment. They chose a lie that they didn't have to choose. They didn't have to give their money. They didn't have to sell their property. They could have simply said, no, this wasn't the full price. We just don't feel comfortable with giving away all of our money because I just don't know if we'll be able to. That's honesty. That would have been the honest path to choose. We said, no, I don't feel comfortable about giving all away. This is only part of it. I don't know, maybe you guys can help us and we can give the rest of it. Would it be okay if we kept some of it because we're on hard times right now? No, but instead, it's easier to lie and hope that no one knows. But that's the interesting thing about this is when Peter said, you didn't lie to us, you lied to God, because God knew when we lie, when we choose to lie over truth, God knows. And ultimately, when we choose to lie to God. Because we're saying that, oh, I know you're there, but I'm just going to do this anyway. I'm just going to lie instead. We acknowledge the truth, but we choose a lie. Every time we lie. Some people have lied so much throughout their lives that this little moment has become smaller and smaller, but that moment's still there. Where you know what the truth is, but yet you choose a lie instead. And as the verse said earlier in John 14, Jesus told him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one can come to the Father except through me. So if Jesus is the truth, that means in the statement we acknowledge the truth but choose a lie, we can change the word truth to Jesus. We acknowledge Jesus but choose a lie instead. We do that all the time because we know that God knows, we know that we know the truth, and yet we choose this lie as well, and then we try to rationalize them away through white lies or protective lies because we don't want to get hurt in the process. We don't want to hurt other people, and we rationalize those. We say, of course, God wouldn't want these people to be hurt, and then we choose to lie. And when we lie, we know what God really wants from us, and we inevitably lie to God. It says in 1 John 1:5, this is the message we heard from Jesus, and now declare to you, God is light. There is no darkness in him at all. None. There's no lies. There's no white lies. There's no telling a lie to help people, to make them feel better. There's no such thing as darkness in God. So when we rationalize telling lies, when we rationalize the things we choose, when we rationalize choosing a lie over Jesus, we have to know that God has no darkness in him at all. The smallest white lie is as big as the biggest regular lie. And when we choose that, we lie to God. And God says, there is no darkness in me at all. And it continues, it says, so we are lying if we say we have fellowship with God, but go on living in spiritual darkness. We are not practicing the truth. Because Jesus is the truth. And because Jesus is God, and there is no darkness in God, there is no lies in God. No white lies, no small lies, no big lies, no nothing. God values the truth. He loves Jesus. And for that reason, through him, we should also acknowledge our faith in Jesus by telling the truth all the time. Why? Because I think Thomas Jefferson said it best. Honesty is the first chapter in the book of wisdom. You got to get it right. If you want to become wise, if you want to have better understanding, you need to know that truth is the important part that sets the table for everything else. That we have to choose honesty over dishonesty so that we become more wise over time. So in John 14, it says, rather, speaking the truth in love, we are to grow up in every way into him who is the head, into Christ. So it's saying that we need to become more like Christ. And we just read that there's absolutely no darkness in God. None. It's only light. So if it's only light and we need to become more like Jesus, we can't have any darkness in our lives. We can't rationalize lies. We have to notice them in our lives and choose to tell the truth. Because honestly, maybe we're defensive about everyday white lies because we are too lazy to find creative ways to speak the truth in love. Maybe that's just it. Maybe we're just so lazy that instead of trying to figure out how to tell somebody that, yes, that dress does kind of make you look fat, instead of trying to find a way to say that in a loving way to help people, we choose lies instead. Instead of telling your husband, I appreciate what you did, we choose a lie. And we just lie to them. Oh, yeah, no, this tastes great. I love it. When in fact, we need to find a way to tell truth to people, to choose truth over lies, even in the small white lies. Maybe we're defensive about everyday white lies because we're just too lazy to figure out how to tell people the truth in love. And the flip side to this, the other important piece to this, is that when we choose to acknowledge the truth and to walk in light, and to not lie and to not sin, when we choose to do that, we have to be just as equally receptive to the truth as we are moved to tell it. So when someone decides to give you the honest truth in love, you need to be receptive to it. You need to know that that means they love you. That because they want to be more like Jesus, because they want to walk in the light with God and with no darkness, because they want to live that way, they're trying to tell you the truth in love, so that you can grow and become more like Jesus, and that they can grow and become more like Jesus. So don't choose lies over the truth. Find a good way to tell the truth to people through love so that you can both grow and you both become more like Jesus, because you can receive the truth in love just as much as you can give the truth in love. This message series is all about this sort of thing. It's all about the dirty little secrets, the dirty little lies, the things that we just kind of get in our lives and we don't get rid of. And as we progress through this, all of these things are a way for us to become more like Jesus. Not lying is an important part of being like Jesus. Striving for the truth is an important part of becoming more like Jesus. And learning to walk in the light of God with no darkness in your life is the best way to start becoming more like Jesus. Let me pray with you this morning. Heavenly Father, I am so thankful that you are the truth. You are the way. God, I am so thankful that you have no darkness in you, that you are nothing but light, so that when we walk with you, your light shines upon us and we can see the areas in our lives where darkness is in control. Father, I pray as we go forward that we understand the importance of telling people the truth in love and equally understanding how to receive that truth in love. In Jesus' name, amen.
I want to invite you to stand for this last song then. To be more like Jesus. That's what we're all aiming